This is James, the comic book Shifu. Welcome to Read More Comics. This is my second take for the same video. I had a tech issue, so hopefully this time around it's going to be a lot better. I am going to be sharing with you another episode of Pulls and Pickups where I have gone to my local LCS, cleaned out my pull box, and I happen to also, in this case, my pickups was a mail call. I also have a book recommendation that you can either go out, pick up the individual issues at your LCS, if that's something you're looking at, or trade weight. Either way, I would definitely recommend diving into the story that I'm going to get to. Let me adjust the camera just a smidge. There we go. So this week it's a pretty light week. Only had about 5 or 6 books. And surprisingly, most of these were Marvel books. I have a few DC, no independent books this week. So let's go ahead and get started. First one, this is issue number 2 of Batman and Robin. I went with the Gabriel Dell'Otto cover. Apparently this is Artist Spotlight Month, something new that DC's doing. And this month is Gabriel Dell'Otto, which I'd easily put in, maybe I would say my top 5, arguably within the top 3 best cover artists. In my opinion, again, I think he's more of a classically trained artist. It shows in his work. He's able to both get a depth and an emotion that other artists of his ilk aren't able to possess. So I was going to be pulling the DeMeo covers for this. I enjoyed his work on We Only Find Them When They're Dead, which another book to pick up if you like kind of a sci-fi dystopia. We only find them when they're dead. Awesome read. Very complex. Anyway, so I ended up with the Dell'Otto book. I apologize for the glare, but because it's Dell'Otto, he tends to the darker spectrum of the palette, and it would be very difficult, I think, to recreate the depth that he has here. Damian Wayne is my Robin, so I'm looking forward to reading this. But because of my reading habits, which I've shared before, I haven't gotten it to it yet. This is only the second issue. Josh Williamson is the writer, and loved what he's been doing so far in his short kind of run on Batman. And he did, he did a Robin book, and then he did a Batman versus Robin book, which has led to this. There was kind of, and I'm going to try to keep this as spoiler-free as possible because it's all spec. There's some speculation that they're having Damian Wayne finally show some age, and so he's not like a kid, is much more of a teenager, an older teenager, and the projection is, the speculation is that they're setting him up to be his own superhero, going under a different mantle at some point in the future besides Robin. That's what they had on Bleeding Cool. No, it wasn't Bleeding Cool. It was another online comic book news source. I'll think about what it is in a moment. I can honestly just look right on. Give me a second. It is The Beat. I think it was The Beat had said something like that they think that they're moving towards Damian Wayne taking on some of their mantle. Besides Robin, can't be a Robin forever. And because Bruce Wayne still sells comic books, it's not going to be taken over by Batman anytime soon. So we'll see. Anyway, Batman and Robin, issue number 2. Looking forward to reading this. Then we have, this is my only other DC book. I have Superman Lost by Christopher Priest. I went the variant cover. Here we see Clark Kent in a wheelchair. Highly recommend Superman Lost. It's a great entry book. If you don't want to get into reading the large catalog of Action Comics or Superman in its various volumes or iterations, Superman Lost is a great way to dip your toe into 2 Superman books if you enjoy Superman. And Christopher Priest, he's not necessarily taking risks with this story, but is not he said, I think on a podcast or an interview, he's not experiencing the constraints he had with some of the other books he's written for DC recently because it's not considered in continuity. Excuse me, allergies. Anyway, so highly recommend this. It's very similar to Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, okay, by Tom King, in that here we see Superman outside of being on the planet Earth with the Justice League, with Lois Lane, with the rest, the cast of characters, and he is in a new setting on the other side of the galaxy, far away from anyone else. And he's trying to journey back to Earth. So definitely a solid read. This is issue number 7. There was a delay during Night Terrors for some reason, which I have this feeling maybe they were giving the artist a chance to get caught up with the next couple issues. It's supposed to be a 12-issue run, and because it's out of continuity, it had nothing to do with the Night Terrors. Anyway, so this is issue number 7. Should be easy enough because this is not one of these high demand, hot books that people are specking on for you to pick up the individual copies. Or you can trade weight, only has like 5 more issues. So, by sometime late winter, early spring, you'd be able to pick it up. The rest of my books are Marvel books. We have Silver Surfer Rebirth Legacy issue number 2. I feel this is an Inhyuk Lee cover. It kind of speaks to him, but there's no signature. And I was talking to my LCS proprietor. He was saying one thing that Marvel is infamous for is they'll cover up the artist's signature with the barcode. So it looks like an Inhyuk Lee cover. I didn't really have this on my pull list. I was going to get the Ron Lim variant because it kind of bespoke of old school Volume 3 Silver Surfer when we had the last long run. I enjoy, though, what Marvel's been doing with Silver Surfer, where they're staying true to the mythology of the character. They're drawing in some B and C list characters into the story. They're making connections with those characters. I definitely think he could have his own ongoing series like Dan Slott did a couple years ago, right around Secret Wars. But these are fun too because, 6 issues, you get a nice Silver Surfer story. You get to see the character interact with others and deal with issues that are sometimes beyond him, but sometimes not, I haven't read issue number 1 yet. Again, this is my reading habits. I'm waiting a couple issues and then I'll start into it. So might be able to share a little spoiler-free preview next time. So Silver Surfer number 2. Then I got Cap Wolf and the Howling Commandos. This is issue number 1. This is the variant cover. I'm not sure who did it. I picked it up because it was Halloween. That's it. Cap Wolf, I know he's a thing. I know he's a thing from, I think it was the early 90s. That is not a part of the Captain America run that I'm really collecting. I kind of started with Brubaker and I'm moving forward. But I thought the concept was cool. Kind of see Cap Wolf again. The art on the cover was cool. The werewolves are on point. And again, it's Halloween. So the rest are some Star Wars books, some pulls, and we'll go from there. So we got Star Wars Dark Droids issue number 3. This has been a fun event. I also found that, and I thought this was a bait and switch on the part of Marvel's part, this right here, the trade dress, does not exist on the 1 in 100 issues. So you get the droid in a virgin cover. Kind of disappointed in that because the previous pull box, that's not they were showing. And if I looked in other places, Marvel's catalog, things like that, that is not what they're showing. They're showing no trade dress at all. I'm kind of disappointed because I thought this would have been an awesome cover. This is Rachel Slott did all the variants. This is the C cover. Putting that aside, it's been a fun event. I like that they're giving droids an opportunity to be a part of some sort of nefarious scheme, and they're also bringing in like D Squad. We're seeing again from the Clone Wars cartoons some members of D Squad. It's been fun. So I might be something if you like Star Wars and you want to read something that's a little outside the norm. It's not the Empire versus the Rebellion or something like that. We're not watching Luke, struggle with the fact of who his father is and how he's going to become a Jedi. None of that. It's really just there's this ancient droid spirit, whatever you want to call it, program that's infecting other droids, and he's trying to take things over so droids have some rights too. Anyway, it's a fun read. The next one, this is Mandalorian Season 2, issue number 5. I got the variant edition. This is a Raza cover. Saw this in the Previews magazine some months ago, and it is killer. We got Ahsoka right on the front. Let's see if I can... That's pretty good. Oh, that's even better. Just finished Ahsoka, the series. No spoilers with that. Highly recommend the series if you haven't watched it. I pulled this cover because I enjoy Raza. I think he is a stellar artist. Loved his work on Miles Morales in, what was it, Volume 2? Volume 3? Volume 2. And this is another fine example of his work. So, Mandalorian, issue number 5. The next two are actually a mail call. This is not spec. Like, I'm getting these because they're keys. At least one's a minor key. And not because I'm specking on it at all. Though I don't think there's anything wrong with spec. If that's why a person collects, it keeps the hobby active. It keeps it alive. I'm getting this because it's adding some depth to my Star Wars collection in my PC. So this is Star Wars Age of the Republic Special. It's a one-shot. We got Asajj Ventress on the cover. There's supposed to be 2 panels. These are 2 early panels of Ahsoka in canon. But the big reason why this is a minor key is this is the cameo appearance of Huyang in a comic book. So really enjoyed the character Huyang, voiced by David Tennant, in the Ahsoka series. And I saw this, it was actually 2 books for a very reasonable price to start with. And anytime on eBay a person allows me to make an offer, I'm making an offer. I think that's something we need to do. As someone who sold things on the secondary market, I'm going to sell it for what I think is reasonable, what I would like to make. And if someone makes me an offer and it's within the ballpark, I kind of say, here's what I'd like to make, here's pie in the sky, but this is what I'm willing to accept. I accept it. And that's what this guy did. So very reasonable sale, quick delivery, all that. If you're purchasing on eBay, check their former sales, see how many things they've sold before, check their rating. I have had awesome experience on eBay. Very few opportunities, or very few times in the past did I not get, I walked away not being a satisfied customer. And I've also found that reaching out and going, hey, I'm not satisfied with this. How can you help me out? Usually what I'm looking for is, if I'm not satisfied, them to make it worth my while without returning the item. And this was the case where they sent it in a Gemini mailer. Everything was packaged nice and nice. No, it was a cardboard sandwich, which is what eBay recommends for a few books. With that, I got the Oliver Kopel Vader Down DF. So what is that? Not Defiant Forces. I can look on the Dynamic Forces. It's literally on the back of the book. In the original bag and board. So here's Oliver Kopel, Vader Down. This is the first time outside. This came out before Rogue One. So early on, this Vader Down was a crossover between the main Star Wars book and Volume 1 of the Darth Vader book. And we got to see Darth Vader flex. Like, seriously flex. And prior to Rogue One, hadn't really seen Darth Vader move like that. Though... No, because the last season of Clone Wars hadn't come out on Disney Plus yet. So this is a fun read. It's not very long. It's only 5 or 6 issues plus the Vader Down opening book. If you haven't read it and you're big into Star Wars, highly recommend it. Still has the Dynamic Forces foily sticker and the COA saying it's one of 15,000 copies. Anyway, recommendation, then I'm going to let you go. Finishing up my video. I am highly recommending Ultimate Invasion. Jonathan Hickman killed it with this. I read all 4 issues, and that's how I recommend reading them. I think he is weaving a very complex story in bringing back the Ultimate Universe. And if you have to read it piecemeal, you're not going to see how all the threads pull together. There's going to be some dissonance in the story itself if it's chopped up. But if you can read it like I did, I read all 4 issues last week in one setting. It is a brilliant story, and he's setting up a strong return to the Ultimate Universe. If this is interesting to you, you probably could find the single issues at an LCS. It wasn't like this amazing hot book, though the trade will be coming out soon. The individual issues are a little bit more expensive, looking at just the shelf price, but you're getting more book. Like the first book was $9, but this is not a 20-page story. This is easily twice as much of that. The last book is the same thing. You know, far more story for page count, by page count. There's supposed to be a single, a one-shot Ultimate Universe coming out next month in November. And then I'm not sure if Ultimate Spider-Man is coming out in December or at the beginning of next year. I'm definitely adding that to my pull list. Hey, so if you enjoyed what I shared here, please do like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment below, and I would enjoy having a conversation about any of the books that I've discussed today. Thank you for watching another episode of Pulls and Pickups on Read More Comics.